Assalamu alaikum. Hi, everyone. This is Khalid Al-Habib, professor of cardiology at King Saud University, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. It's my pleasure today to moderate the sixth session in the Virtual Research Academy, sponsored by the Saudi Heart Association. All these sessions are for the sake of science and science only. They are not sponsored by any drug companies. And we're here to promote science, promote research. And I'm honored today to have a great scientist with me, Professor Dimitri Michalidis. He's a friend and a dear colleague that we met a long time ago at the Gulf Heart Association several years ago before COVID-19. Professor Dimitri Michalidis graduated from the University of London and is an honorary professor, Department of Surgical Biotechnology, Division of Surgery and Interventional Science, University College London Medical School, University College London, and former academic head, Department of Clinical Biochemistry, Royal Free Hospital Campus. He continues with academic activities after retirement. He's a visiting professor at several universities, including our King Saud University, and former vice president section of pathology and current member of the vascular medicine section council, Royal Society of Medicine. He's a fellow of the Royal College of Pathologists, Royal College of Physicians, and many faculty positions in other universities. And he's a very highly cited scientist, H index of 90, and chief editor-in-chief of several journals, including Current Vascular Pharmacology, Expert Opinion on Pharmacotherapy and Angiology, Impact Factor up to 4.1. Participated in several guidelines and international expert committee with several awards. So this is in a very short, his brief CV. Without further ado, would like to give the mic to Professor Michalidis to talk to us about a very important topic, how to write a good manuscript, a skill that is needed by many of our colleagues, particularly the junior staff. So looking forward for his presentation, somebody who's expert and receives a lot of manuscripts in his journals. There's no better one to talk about this topic except him. So without further ado, the mic is yours, Professor Michalidis.
Thank you very much for all the kind words. So this declaration of interest, which I have to do or lose my job, a little bit more here, a little bit more here, a little bit more. And this is how much I've published. You've heard that already. So let's start. Now, why did I show you how much I published and how much citation and so on? Very simple. In the end, to get published, you have to do the author, what the author does, what the editor decides, and what the reviewers recommend. So I've done all three. And this is important because you have experience in all three domains. Also, why do you have to write well? Because you have to do your job well, that's okay. But that's not the only reason. The reason is if you present something badly, the reviewer, the editor may say, I'm not going to consider this, it's not worth it. These people don't know how to write. And of course, we know that there is a lot of racialism around. They see that you're from a foreign country as well. They say, oh no, they can't do anything, forget it. And they throw it away, and that would be a real shame. So try and write the best you can. So the procedure, which you know, is author, editor, reviewers, and so on. It goes around, and eventually, hopefully, you will get accepted. Now, so you have to select a journal. This is the first mistake we do. all of us, even the most experienced. So you have to really think about the journal, ask advice. Have you published there before? Think about it. I'm going to go a little bit quicker because we've lost time and we don't have infinite time. Cover letter, some journals have that, some journals don't. What is important in your paper? You've got to say that, but be brief, okay? What you've published before on this topic, especially with big journals, to impress the editor. And have you published in this journal before? If yes, twice, tamam. Okay, let's go through now the structure of a paper. Remember, it's always the same. Hence, it's very easy to do because it's always the same. Yet, people can't do it. It's amazing. They forget keywords. They don't put the declaration of interest. They don't follow the word limits. They do all sorts of mess. References, 20, 30 references, each one in different style. Why? Chaos. Don't do that. Review is the same, similar, but obviously there are difference in the text. But here it's a key issue is invited or submitted. Submitted, you have less chance to get accepted than if it's invited. So how do you get invited? Well, you can write to an editor of a journal, especially if you know him or her. You write and you say to him, we did all this in this topic. We would like to write a review for your journal. What do you think? And he would say no, yes. If he says yes, you're invited. So you now go up in priority. And remember, for reviews, team, theme, target. Team, who will write it? Who will do what? What is the topic? Don't choose a topic the theme that has been done 1,000 times before because it's not original, it's not worth it. And the target is the journal. What journal? Okay. What about a letter? These are the objectives for the letters. They must be very short, few references, but they are very good practice for inexperienced people because they're short. You can write them quickly. You can learn to write and combine references with text and all these techniques. It's a bit like a surgeon starting with an easy operation and then graduating eventually to very complicated surgery. So start simple. Editorial is also very short, but it's very prestigious, especially in the big journals, very prestigious. And how to get invited, same. If you see an article which is EPUB in the Medline, PubMed, EPUB means it doesn't have pages yet. You write very quickly to the editor and you say, we saw this publication, EPUB. We would like to write an editorial. This is what we've done, blah, 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 in the field. How about that? And he says, yes, you're invited. He says, no, okay, never mind. Next time. If you want to write case reports, clinical trials, and so on, these are guidelines. Remember, many journals do not take case reports. The reason is they are not cited. So because they're not cited, journals are not very keen. Now, let's look at some general advice. If you look at all these things here, they are write, read, revise, reduce, reflect, reference. They're all to help you remember. So let's look at them, a few of them. Reference. People make statements in papers or reviews. This is like this. No reference. So who do you think you are? You know, you cannot do that. You have to have a reference. Reduce your text. All people like Mediterraneans and Arabs and so on, we talk too much. So cut, cut, cut. Anglo-Saxon journals don't like too much blah, blah, blah. Cut, cut. And also remember that all the authors should read it because they will spot things, obvious things. that you made a mistake, very obvious mistakes, but because they're looking at new, they will see them. Whereas you are looking at the same paper again and again and again, you don't see them. And write properly at first go. So don't write and then start correcting, and so just do it right the first time. You get an abbreviation, you define it in the text, in the summary, in the figures, and in the tables every time. So very easy to do. Let's see also some silly things that people do. See, they put, for example, this man's height is 176.83. So can you read 0.03 of a centimeter? It's rubbish. You cannot measure that. So it shows that you don't know how to handle data. Is this before or after you had a haircut? You know, think about it. It's so silly to do that. The same with the weight. You can't measure weight with too much accuracy. So remember to know how to handle data. People put cholesterol 125.321 milligrams per deciliter. You can't even measure 1 milligram, let alone 0.321. So what is this? You don't know how to handle data. Okay, so don't make these mistakes. Rushing? No, don't rush. Think about it. In fact, put the paper away for 2 days and look at it again after 2 days. That's good. You will spot mistakes. Discuss together if short sentences. And remember, English journals want a decimal point, not a comma. And avoid repeating yourself. Nobody's always right, only God is always right. So team opinion is the best bet. So you talk together and you try and sort it out. See if you made a mistake. And remember, in the old days, it used to be the objective was get published. I have a paper. Ah, yeah, great. Now it's not just publishing, it's getting cited. So how many citations have you got? What is your H index? Yeah, you're not writing, and nobody even reads it. Nobody cites it. Nobody cares about what you write. Okay. Now, remember that an editor like me will look at loads of papers every week. My God, how many papers come every week? He will look at them for minutes. He will look at the abstract. He will maybe look at the table or a figure or something like that. So you better get everything right. So does the editor know you or your center? That would help. Ranking of your center authors, that would help. Presentation quality is crucial, okay? And have you helped the journal? Because if you have helped the journal, it's great. I mean, we are grateful as editors that you're helping us. And the cover letter we've talked about. Let's have a little break now and look at another example. XX was, these are true examples, by the way. XX was markedly increased in patients with YY disease compared with controls. Okay, compared with is underlined because you write compared with, not compared to. Even English people make this mistake. It doesn't matter too much, but get it right. Okay, then see, but the p-value is not significant. This is crazy. Markedly different, but no p-value. So what do? Well, you have to write, despite the marked difference, the p, there was no significance. Why? And you explain, because the sample is small, because there is a lot of heterogeneity between the data group A and group B. So there is, but you don't write markedly and just leave it like that because it's silly. Markedly on one side, not significant on the other, it doesn't balance, okay? These results were statistically significant and you have a p-value. Previously published methods. What's wrong with that? Well, if you have a p-value, then you must have obtained a statistical test. And hopefully in methods, the last section is statistical analysis. You can go there and look how you did it. You can put the name of the test if you want in the results. Yeah, but just say these results were significant. You want to put the name of the test? No problem. Previously published. Well, if it's published, it must be previously. Yeah. Avoid tautology, you know, saying the same word twice. Look at this example. I must confess I missed the mistake here. While you're looking at it, think about it, right? I missed a mistake, but I spotted it fortunately because I went back to look for something else. You can see here what people do. Look at that. They have 91 patients, but 27 of the 91 are controls. How can you make a mistake like that? Amazing, amazing, carelessness. And maybe 5, 6 co-authors don't notice it. It's not good. It doesn't inspire confidence. By the way, when you have a number like 91 and you have subgroups, always add them up because many times, 10% of the time, 5% of the time, the addition is not right. And this is very worrying. If you can't add 2, 3 numbers together and you write a paper, not sure. Look at this. High levels of X are associated with a higher prevalence of disease Z. You use in this sentence high and higher very close together. Bad writing, you don't do that. You can use one of them, can be raised levels. And then levels. Levels where? I'm not going to tell you. I know as the author, but I'm not going to tell you as the reader, editor, reviewer. Okay, you don't want to tell me? You're out. Okay. Clarity. Clarity is crucial. Okay. Clinically relevant treatment target. Relevant treatment target. Why would clinical is treatment? So you don't need that extra word. Cut, cut. And look at this. This is a true example. How embarrassing if you're right. This is almost rude. It's rude. Fatty liver disease. What is this rubbish? You know, it's rude. It's not proper. You'll be ridiculed. That people would laugh at your paper because you didn't read it. Now, O and I are very close on the keyboard. That's why they made a mistake. But somebody would have spotted it, but they didn't look. Okay. Plaque rupture, plaque rupture. Sounds the same, but it's not the same. Be careful. If you don't know a word, what it means, don't do it phonetically. Look it up in the dictionary, look it up in the Google, whatever. One guy put plus minus this way. I've only seen it once in my life, put upside down. Why? He never read another paper? Oh, that's very serious. I mean, you've not read another paper ever, and you're writing a paper now, oh, I'm not sure about that. So what is carelessness, trying to be clever? Whatever it is, it's all bad. Look at that, full blood count. How can you do that? Because it's the sound. They did it by sound, full blood count, they wrote full. They didn't think, what is full? What does it mean? There you go. Intravenous admiration, my God, I mean, like, come on. This is embarrassing. And they even converted to perfumed. I mean, that is unbelievable. Don't make silly mistakes like that. It will hurt you. It will hurt your reputation. People then torture their data. They do meta-analysis. They do complicated analysis, graphs, correlations, all sorts of things for very small numbers. So don't torture your results until they confess something that is not true. Okay? So be careful what you do. If you have small numbers, say, I have small numbers. This is a pilot study. I'm very small. You know, I'm not big study. I'm small. Multiple comparisons. You can't do multiple comparisons and have with small people, small numbers. This study indicates how arrogant, especially if you only have 20 patients. This study suggests, supports, indicates. No, it's not indicates. Some studies don't even have limitations as part of the discussion. You think you are perfect. Yeah. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ كُفْوًا لَهُ أَحَدٍ. Oh, this is blasphemy. You cannot do that. Okay? You have limitations because you are human. Understand that and respect that and do it. And balance. Balance everywhere. Balance, keep balance. Remember, al-mizan is very important. Okay. Always use spell check and set it to the right language if you're going to do it. For example, English UK, English USA. Be EMEA, EMEA. Don't use both, either one or the other. And remember, spell check doesn't look at your brain. It only looks at words. So you saw fatty lover or stupid things like that. It will not be spotted by spell check because they are words, but they make no sense. And they are sometimes quite rude, actually. I didn't put some of the ruder ones. Okay, the abstract is the shop window of your paper. This is the key advert of your paper. So be very careful when you write it. Make sure you specify what species you're looking, number of patients, duration of treatment. The word limit is extremely strict. 200 words. It means even 201, you must not do that. 200, 200, or less, of course, but 200, the limit. References, I still cannot understand after more than 2 decades as editor, I cannot understand why people cannot do references correctly. They put 20 references, each one in different style. What are you trying to do here? You are trying to give a message to the referees, to the reviewers and editors and so on, that you're incompetent, careless, you don't care. What's happening? It's the easiest part of the paper. Put the references in the right style. Look organized. Abbreviations. People use abbreviations all over the place. They abbreviate, and then they use a full word, and then they abbreviate again. Once you define within the text an abbreviation, you only use the abbreviation, okay? Don't use it full word, abbreviation, full word, abbreviation. Okay. Statistics is a big problem. I can't talk about that too much, but I told you already about the cholesterol. Don't put too many decimal points. Always show, if possible, the 95% confidence interval, and it has to be a separate section in methods. If it's not normally distributed, median and range, not mean and SD. Look at this for statistics. A meta-analysis of 92 patients. And worse, 65 of them are from one study. So basically, the meta-analysis is on one study. And then I rejected it, and he got very upset. I got a p-value, he says, useless. And we talked about this, but look again, how spell check can cause you trouble. Imagining techniques instead of imaging. See, this will not be spotted by spell check because imagining is a word, but it makes no sense, of course. Remember that all tables and figures must stand alone. So if I look at a table or a figure, I don't have to keep going to the text to see what abbreviation is this, what does this mean, what is group A, what is group B. It's all in front of me. Seconds. Somebody should be able to understand what you're saying in a paper in seconds. If it takes more than a few seconds, you're out. Compared to is compared with. Refereeing or peer review, refereeing is the old word for it. People say the peer reviewer said, oh, we have to do this. No, that's not how it works. The peer reviewer can be arrogant, racialist, God knows what he can be. So you can answer back and say, this comment is not valid because, and you say why. And the editor will look at that and he will judge. The proof that refereeing is not perfect is what you see in agreement between peer reviewer 1, peer reviewer 2. The agreement is random. There's no accept, minor revision. It's all over the place, accept, reject, 2 extremes, you know. This is very common. So peer reviewers are not perfect. If you are a peer reviewer, of course, be careful. But anyway, if you're replying point by point, don't say we did the changes. What is that? Point by point, okay? And say it's in the text on page 6, on page 9, and in the text it's a different color. reviewers don't abuse your privilege. You know, keep it simple, help the authors, help the quality of the journal. Remember also, very difficult to get peer reviewers these days because everybody's so busy. So a lot of editors will look at a badly written paper and say, no, 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 I'm not sending this to peer review. I can't waste, annoy my reviewers. Off, you're gone. So write properly. Today, we can have markers of research success. We can look at Medline, PubMed entries, how many he has or she has. We can look at citations. The most strict system is the Clarivate Core Collection, which shows the smallest number because they choose the best journals. Other systems of citation are bigger numbers. Hirsch index or H index, and are you an editor, things like that. All these things can be looked at. Some require codes to log in, and some are open to everyone. Okay, remember that there is a list of most cited people in several fields. There's lists of universities, most cited paper lists, and so on. So don't try and be too clever. If you are from a small university, never mind. It doesn't matter, but don't be arrogant. Be careful. I find people sometimes you go to, I've lectured in 52 countries. You go to countries which are not really academically known. And yet the people are so arrogant, it's unbelievable. You go modestly, you say, okay, okay. But after that, you say, my God, these people will never learn because they don't want to go up. They think they're up there already. So they won't go up. What about writing an abstract? Now, abstracts are important because you can go to a society meeting and so on. You can project your findings. People will come and talk to you, all sorts of things. Now, when you write an abstract, say it's 200 words, it says 200 words, 250. You're writing it. Your introduction is already 189. How can you get to 200 abstract when your introduction is 189? Can't do it. So you know you're doing wrong. Very early on, you have to budget. Introduction, okay, this is a well-known topic. Very, very short, very short. Oh, I'm putting too much introduction. Oh, I have to cut now. Cut now. Don't wait to get 200 words and then say, oh, I have 200 words. That's silly. And unfortunately, you have to define abbreviations. So this cost you a lot of words. Now, what does an abstract grader look? I grade for the ESC, for all sorts of societies and so on. I've made it very simple. Is it novel? That's good. Numbers? Yes, the bigger the better. Good. Realistic, because some people put one case and they say this explains everything. No, it's not like that. And is it relevant? Sometimes it's not relevant even to the topic of the meeting, so you just throw it out. Okay. Be careful about English people because all these say please, 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 but actually they mean something completely different. Could you please do this for me? Is Arguk, please help me. Please do this, starting to get strict. Please do this without any details, means especially comes from the boss, means do it now, although that's please. I practice the KISS principle. I don't know if you're familiar with the KISS principle, but keep it simple, stupid. So I keep everything simple. I don't complicate things because I can't cerebrate, you know? So always keep it simple. And it's known as a KISS principle. Okay. And remember, this is from a Greek philosopher a long time ago. It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. So if you think you are perfect, you will learn nothing, and you will not improve, and you will not increase your quality of work. Your work will remain mediocre. I'm still learning, and I'm an old man, but I'm still learning and still perfecting as much as I can what I do, how I write, how I correct, how I do everything. And last, this is to show you that I'm not always very serious.
Great, part one. Really was laughing and enjoying and really enjoying your talk because We've been there when we started our career, and now we supervising junior and mentoring junior staff. It drives me nuts, as you said, and I can feel the agony and the suffering that you have to encounter as an editor when you see such sometimes a great work and a lot of effort, and yet people really take it for granted that how come my paper was not accepted and so on. And sometimes when they send the paper to me for correction and so on, it has to go like the 20th or the 25th revision, and they keep and they end up being grumpy at the end. Why I'm so meticulous. And as you nicely mentioned that, and very elegantly, that despite assuming that the science is good, many of the times investigators really lose the attention of the editors, let alone if it went even to the reviewer, by such, as you said repeatedly in your presentation, silly mistakes that really speaks of basically people who are not really paying attention to the very fine details that really that tells you something about the person who's writing this or the group. Part of it, I feel, Professor Michalidis, and I would like to have your thoughts about this, is mentorship. I think one of the major problems is that sometimes we throw things on junior staff. They write things, they have no experience. And it's a mistake of the senior author or somebody, his name or her name on the paper as an author. They're so busy with other things and with major journal submissions and so on. And this paper for them is like, okay, let me just be supportive for these people. But they really don't do the job properly. They don't mentor well. Any thoughts about this?
Yes, you're absolutely correct. I spend hours and hours and hours sitting in side by side with juniors, going through their papers on the screen. On the left is the senior pilot, on the right is the co-pilot. So just like they do to train to fly, one and one, side by side. And why did you do this? Why did you do that? Why is there not a comma here? Why? And it takes a long time, but it's very productive, because after one session, one paper, you can see the second paper, the standard is different. By the third, fourth paper, you don't have to do anything. I mean, you have opinions, of course. You always have opinions. Even the best writers in the world will disagree on, oh, I should put this, I should put this, don't put this. It's okay. Opinions are not a problem. But you have to be clear, and you have to be balanced, and try and do a good job for your career, it's for success. It's not for, it's not art, it's just practice. Are you tumbling around? What are you doing? You're turning your laptop around or something?
Yeah, I'm trying to see the questions.
Oh. Okay.
No questions so far.
Okay.
So, for example, on the issue of mentorship, I know, for example, particularly it gets worse even for medical students. For example, I know a group of students who are doing a project with a lady doctor who never met them face to face, and only communicate with them by email or WhatsApp. I mean, how could, and the end product, when one of the students showed me that quote unquote the manuscript, or what should be looking like the manuscript, there is no result section. It's only figures and tables. And the poor guy really didn't know better, because basically he was not mentored well. Yeah. There's no mentoring at all, actually. And her name is on the paper. I mean, how on earth could you do that? And it just basically, and in a very well-known hospital and a college of medicine in the country, is this the way science is going? People just want their name published somewhere, anywhere, so they can promote it?
This is the way it's going, unfortunately. I have an expression for this, what you describe. مش عارف رايح ولا جاي. I have an Egyptian accent, of course. I hope you understand what I said.
Yes, from Egyptian background.
Yeah. So yes, you have, but medicine, writing, medical work, clinical medicine, all that diagnosis, everything is hands-on. It's not just reading books or exchanging telephone calls or emails, as you said. It's hands-on, hands-on. Maybe other sciences, other things are not necessarily hands-on, but medicine is hands-on. So unfortunately, this is a problem because it takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort, but you must produce students that are better than you. This is the aim of a teacher. You have to be, you're my student, you must be better than me, not worse or equal, better than me. And I have to do everything in my way possible that I can to make you better than me. I will help you be better than me. And this is your mission. And this is very important, but there you go. There is 5 Q&A. Can you see?
Yeah, I'll have a look at them now.
Okay. If you can give me just one.
I like the principle, the KISS principle that you said,
keep it
simple, stupid. So many of the times I find people writing a lot of pages, and you have to really go through the agony of really cutting a lot of junk.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some papers are written in a code, actually, not in English. They're written in a code, and you have to break the code. It's like codes, and then computers and experts are trying to decode and say, I know what he was saying now. I know. It took us 3 days, but we found out. We broke the code.
So some question here, a few questions regarding reference management. Using manual is not working nowadays. What is the best manager apart from Mendeley, something like this?
Yeah, you can use reference. You can use a lot of systems, whatever you are comfortable with and whatever you have in your university or so on. But remember, if you're writing something with 20 refs or 30 refs, it's very easy. You don't need the system. You can do it manually. You put the text and you put brackets. You put Habib et al. You put Michaelidis et al. 1922, 2068, whatever you want. And people, then when you come to the final version, then you convert to numbers. And it's only 20, 15 references, 30, 40 references, it's easy. But if you have 200, then it becomes a bit complicated. And if you make a mistake, and you have to change the numbers, okay, that is crucially difficult. But the people also in the old days used to use tricks. They would put 2 references when they know that you only need 1. So if you have a problem in that region, you delete 1 reference and you replace it by the other, and you only have to correct maybe 4 or 5 references in numerically, and that's fine. So it's not such a big problem. People make it a problem, but when I don't use a reference manager.
Okay, you can do it manually
or anything like that.
Yeah.
But of course, with big reference, with big text, it becomes a bit complicated.
Yeah. Another question, Dr. Wali Garaawi, any advice on how to choose a good title?
Yeah, title is important because also this is a shop window. You see titles that are so long, by the time you finish reading the title, you forgot how it started. Not only that, but you have titles with PKTDD, FXCKDBD. What is he talking about? I don't know this abbreviation. What does it mean? Don't do that either. Yeah. So write short, sharp titles. And some journals are very particular. They do not want the results in the title. So they do not want to say drug A reduces blood pressure. Mm. They want to say the effect of drug A on blood pressure.
Yeah.
Don't want the result. I don't mind. You put the result, you don't, whatever it is, but keep it clear.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I don't have these strict, but some journals have it and they will get upset if you put the result in the title.
Yeah. Another question, what do you suggest the first section of the manuscript to write? People always, once they get everything, the data is ready, and they derive the manuscript, should we start with the abstract or the results or the methods or?
The answer is ala kifak. Do whatever you feel comfortable with. Usually it's good to put a summary, an abstract, even if it's a bit oversized, so that you have something to focus on.
Yeah.
You can start with, I often start with methods and results, because this I know. I know how we did it. I know what we found. And then I start thinking a little bit of introduction, and then of course the discussion. But so you can do whatever you want, so long as you're comfortable and you do it quickly, obviously. If you do it quickly one way, don't do it the other way, which takes you 2 days more. Do it simple. Ala rahtak. This is very important. People used to, in my office, I had my office and the outer office. In the outer office, the research fellows would be sitting there. And we used to write papers in the outer office. And we used to laugh all the time. And one research fellow said, what will people say passing through the corridor, the door is closed, that they keep hearing laughter? And the other fellow said, well, they will say they're writing a paper. Because relaxed, relax. If you get too tense, you'll make mistakes. Relaxed, I've done this before, no problem. See a good surgeon operating, there's no tension. He's talking about the football match yesterday, so he's done, finished. And everybody's relaxed. It doesn't say, oh, the light's not right, oh, this, no, oh, that, no, all done, khalas. Okay.
Again, re-emphasizing the issue of mentorship. And this is the problem with many junior staff around. They don't get the proper mentorship, or the mentor is there, but he's not really there. I mean, his name is there, but he's not really doing the job.
Also remember that if you're a mentor, remember one thing. If you do not mentor, you will forget yourself how to write. So you will not be able to write after 5, 6 years of not writing one word, not reading, not correcting, not doing it. You won't write yourself. It's like, again, like surgery. If you don't operate, you're a very good surgeon, but you don't operate for 10 years, 15 years, and then you do an operation, oh my God.
You lose your hands.
You don't know where things are. It's very difficult. Yeah. So you have to keep operating when it's the same thing.
The other issue as well, I mean, this is exactly similar to what I do as well when you said the results and the methods. Usually what I tell my colleagues or myself, I usually start with the results. If you get the results properly and write it properly, then you can finish whatever you have later on. But if you get this wrong, and you don't know how to write the results and what's important and what should be left for the figures and just to the brief comment in the text, I mean, you just do not understand what this paper is about.
The core is the results.
Yeah.
And so be careful not to put too many tables, not too many figures and stuff. And tables, tables sometimes are incomprehensible, or figures incomprehensible. There's no figure legend. So you see something with curves going up and down, you say, what does he mean? What is that? And also you have to be careful practical things. For example, a figure has red, blue, and black lines. But then you have to pay $1,000 for that red line. Just do it dotted and XX or something. It's all balash. So these are practical things. But never mind. If you like to see it yourself in color, you can do it in color and then convert it. If you want to, it's okay. But do whatever you want. Relax. I mean, people get so tense writing, they can't do it,
Yeah.
You can start with the results, certainly. Not a bad idea at all. I do methods and results, or results and methods. So it's similar to what you do.
Yeah. The other issue I find as well is interruption. So people, even if they are good writers, they get distracted by many things. So they write something and they go away for like months and they go back again to the paper. They forgot, you forgot. And it comes much more painful to really as a process. And this keeps dragging and going on and on and on. So on one side, it's good to take like a couple of days off and come back so you read what you have done.
A couple of days off at the end.
Yeah.
Writing, when you're maybe not that productive, but certainly
Yes.
not 6 months, because 6 months you might as well start from scratch. As you said, it's hopeless. So
Yeah.
once you write, you have to commit yourself. That's why also the team is important, because somebody who's writing it must plan, I'm going to write this, but I have to do 10 operations, I have to do this, I have to do that. No, it's not the time now. Do it when in 2 weeks, start writing in 2 weeks when you have a less burden, something like that, a bit of strategy. Strategy is very important. It's not just being intelligent or experienced and all that. It's also strategy, planning. How do you do this? Best way, and in shortest time, less effort. And as we said, relax, take it easy. Don't kill yourself at it. It's not worth it.
Great. A question that comes back again and again, something that you mentioned at the very beginning of your presentation, about the journal, how to choose the journal. Any thoughts or general guidance on what journal you target?
Rely on Allah. Because it's very difficult. But hopefully what you can do is, if you know the journal, that would help a lot. You're there, you publish over, say, 10 years, 4 or 5 times. You know the journal, you know even the editor. Say you're the editor, you know me, I know you. Already it's a big step. Okay. Now, if it's not appropriate to the journal, I will have to tell you, I'm sorry, Khaled, it's not appropriate. It's okay. We still remain friends, but likely say, oh, I know him. Oh, he's good. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's very great. Okay, I will look after it and so on. So publishing in the journal previously is a big advantage. Because if you never published at all, then that doesn't help. It's negated. But then the seniors, as you said, the mentors will have published somewhere. So they can guide the system and say, let's go for this. And also there are other things you can do. You can send the abstract to an editor, not any editor, but somebody and say, tell me something. Would this be reasonably sort of in line with your journal? Yes or no? And the other guy says, no. I'd like to help you, but this is not my brief. Or he says, it looks okay. Obviously, I need to see the whole paper. Obviously, it has to be peer reviewed, but it looks okay. Right, there you go. You got your answer.
Okay.
There are ways to do things. You can even do it by phone. You phone somebody, say, I'm going to send you this paper. It's blah, 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 2 minutes. Says, okay. No, don't do it because we are not doing this and that. Case reports, no. But the nice case report, no. But it's short, no. Because it's excited. So exceptionally, I will take a case report if it's really exceptional. But the chance is 1 in 1,000 or so. So you're not going to get very far.
Yeah. Any last thoughts? Do you think we can do part 2 in the next few months?
Part 2 is a bit more detailed,
great,
more specific situations. We can do that if you wish, or you can leave it like that. Whatever you want, I will do whatever you want.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And this is being recorded, and it's always on the Saudi Heart website. I will send it to you as well. Please. And it is available to those who, so we can spread science and your great talk and this great discussion around. So people who are not able to access this live webinar can access it at their ease later on. So again, Professor Makhalidis, has been really a great pleasure to see you again in good health, and looking forward to join you again.
Two things. There are 8 questions on Q&A. Have we covered all of them?
Yeah, some of them are repeated. For example, the journal, the target journal. How do you choose the journal? People are asking about, it looks like a major problem for many. You
can ask advice outside, outside your team or outside. You can ask other faculty members. You can ask even friends abroad if this journal is adequate and so on. Regarding giving knowledge, man katama ilman algamu Allah bi algamin al-nar yawm al-qiyamah. So we have to give knowledge. And this is part of what you were saying. It was said 1,400 years ago. What you're saying is your mentor is an honor. It is an honor to mentor. It is an honor to give knowledge to others. It's not just a duty. It's an honor. And if you don't do it, you will be in trouble. So people should remember that it's not, oh no, I have to teach again. Oh God, where's the money? Where is this? No. Don't do that. You teach if you can. I mean, if you can't, you can't do webinars like this every day for 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever, because you won't do anything else. So you have limitations, obviously. But if you can do it, why not? What's the harm? You're going to help people and they will remember. The good people will remember. The bad people will forget that you helped them. But this is very important. So I wanted to say, it's all been said a long time ago. A lot of things that we do today are written in your book. I'm Christian, Muslim, although many people think I'm Muslim, but I won't tell them that I'm Muslim. So I always recite parts of Quran, Al-Kareem. So I'm not, of course, I'm Christian, but of course, what the Quran says about that. It says, قُلْ إِمَّنَا بِالَّذِي أُنزِلَ إِلَيْنَا وَأُنزِلَ إِلَيْكُمْ وَإِلَهُنَا وَإِلَهِكُمْ وَاحِدٌ. How important, can you beautify this line is beautiful, beautiful. What broad-mindedness, what balance, what language of peace and living together and helping each other. And it is such a beautiful book. I have copies everywhere. I have copies in my office everywhere. I have copies because all my research fellows will give me a Quran when they left, if they're Muslims. I have so many copies I have, and I always keep one it's here by my hand. I can touch it. And out of respect, just to show you, because people don't think that the Christian living in London, he doesn't give a toss about Islam or about Arab world. That's wrong. There is never any book or anything on top of the Quran. If you have a Quran anywhere, you will see the house is always the top one. Everything is below it, but there is no books on top of the Quran. Think like this. You have to think this is very healthy thinking. Help people. Doesn't matter what religion they are. Doesn't matter where they are. Help them because I told you in the hadith what it says. And we want to die in peace. We don't want to die with fire and things. Keep it comfortable. Die and be alhamdulillah.
نواجه رب كريم كلنا.
إن شاء الله.
الله يعطيك العافية, Professor. This has been really enlightening, and please take care of yourself, take care of your health, and God bless you. And it's a great honor to have this session with you. I hope the audience have benefited from this session. I will arrange with you, inshallah, through email, the part 2 in the next few days to arrange a time that's good for both of us. And we'll go from there, inshallah.
Inshallah. Okay.
شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا.
مع السلامة. شكرا.
السلامة.
في أمان الله. مع السلامة.
إن شاء الله.